These are 23 iconic Hollywood stars who fought battles cameras never captured. While they walked red carpets and accepted awards, they were secretly enduring life-altering diagnoses, chronic pain, or terminal illnesses that they hid from the world. From the action hero who lost his ability to speak, to the Marvel legend who filmed blockbusters while dying, these stories prove that fame offers no protection against the human body's fragility. But beyond the tragedy, you will find incredible strength. Let's uncover the truth behind the smiles. You might have noticed the gold glove Morgan Freeman often wears on his left hand. But it isn't a fashion statement. In 2008, a car accident shattered the nerves in his arm, leaving his hand permanently paralyzed. He developed severe fibromyalgia, a condition that causes constant, widespread musculoskeletal pain. Freeman can no longer move those fingers, and the compression glove is the only thing that keeps the blood flowing. Despite the agony he feels every day, he refuses to stop working, proving that his voice is stronger than his pain. For years, people thought Brad Pitt was just being aloof or arrogant at parties, but the truth is far more complex. He suffers from prosopagnosia, also known as face blindness. This neurological disorder makes it nearly impossible for him to recognize faces, even those of close friends or family members he has just met. Pitt describes the struggle as a wall of isolation, fearing that people think he is self-absorbed when his brain simply cannot process who they are. It is a lonely reality for one of the most recognized men on Earth. While filming Syriana in 2005, George Clooney suffered a spinal injury so severe that spinal fluid began leaking out of his nose. The pain was absolute torture. Doctors could not immediately fix the tear, leaving him in a state of agony that he admitted made him contemplate ending his own life. He spent weeks tied to a hospital bed with an IV drip, unable to move without blinding pain. Although surgery eventually repaired the leak, Clooney still deals with occasional flare-ups, a permanent reminder of the role that nearly cost him everything. In 1989, a young Halle Berry collapsed on the set of the TV show Living Dolls and slipped into a terrifying coma. She woke up a week later with a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. At just 22, she was told she would need insulin injections for the rest of her life. The news was a shock, but Berry refused to let it derail her career. She overhauled her diet and lifestyle immediately. Decades later, she remains one of Hollywood's fittest stars, proving that a chronic condition doesn't have to be a career sentence. In 2001, Mark Ruffalo had a vivid dream that he had a brain tumor. It felt so real that he went to the doctor, and the scan confirmed his worst nightmare: an acoustic neuroma the size of a golf ball. His wife was weeks away from giving birth to their first child, so Ruffalo kept the diagnosis a complete secret until the baby was born. The surgery to remove it left him deaf in his left ear and temporarily paralyzed half his face, threatening his entire acting future before he fought his way back. This story remains one of the most devastating in Hollywood history. While filming Black Panther and Avengers, Chadwick Boseman was secretly fighting stage 3 and then stage 4 colon cancer. He endured multiple surgeries and chemotherapy treatments between shooting scenes as King T'Challa. Nobody on set knew the agony he was in. He visited children with cancer in hospitals while dying of the same disease himself. When he passed away in 2020, the world was stunned. He gave us a superhero's strength while his own body was slowly failing him. The world lost its laughter when Robin Williams died in 2014. But the reason wasn't just depression. His autopsy revealed he had a severe case of Lewy body dementia, a brain disease that was misdiagnosed as Parkinson's. For his final year, Williams was fighting a war inside his own mind, suffering from paranoia, hallucinations, and confusion that terrorized him. He knew he was losing himself, but didn't know why. His widow later said, "Robin was not crazy. He was the bravest man I have ever known, fighting a chemical war no one could see." We are uncovering more incredible stories of survival in just a moment. If you value this kind of deep research, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps us keep telling these stories. Now, back to the list. Action legend. Bruce Willis retired in 2023, but the signs of his struggle appeared years earlier. Colleagues noticed he needed an earpiece for lines and seemed confused on set. We now know he was battling frontotemporal dementia, an aggressive condition that erodes language and personality. It wasn't laziness. His brain was physically changing. His family has been open about the heartbreak of watching a vibrant man fade, sharing updates to help others understand this cruel disease. It is a stark reminder that even die-hard heroes aren't invincible. Val Kilmer was once the voice of Batman and Jim Morrison, but throat cancer took that away in 2015. After a tracheotomy saved his life, he was left permanently unable to speak naturally. For years, he hid his condition with scarves and silence, denying rumors until he was ready to share his truth. Now, he communicates through a voice box and AI technology. His documentary Val showed the raw reality of his life, proving that while cancer took his voice, it couldn't silence his artistic spirit. In 1991, at the height of his fame, Michael J. Foxx was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He was only 29. Doctors told him he had 10 good working years left. Foxx hid his diagnosis for 7 years, using tricks to mask his shaking hands on screen. When he finally went public in 1998, the relief was immense. Instead of retiring, he became the world's leading advocate for Parkinson's research. Over 3 decades later, despite the disease's progression, he remains a symbol of incurable optimism. Ashton Kutcher disappeared from the spotlight recently, and the reason was terrifying. He was struck by a rare autoimmune disorder called vasculitis. The condition attacked his vascular system, and within days, he lost his vision, his hearing, and his ability to walk. For a full year, Kutcher lived in darkness and silence, unsure if he would ever recover. He had to relearn how to see and move. He later admitted that he is lucky to be alive, and the experience completely reset his perspective on life. In 2023, reports surfaced that Jamie Foxx had suffered a medical complication, but the details were kept locked down. It wasn't until late 2024 that Foxx revealed the truth. A sudden brain bleed had caused a stroke. He described having a headache, asking for painkillers, and then waking up 20 days later with no memory of what happened. He couldn't walk at first and had to fight his way back to health. The man who could do everything was suddenly helpless, making his return to the stage a true miracle. Just as Game of Thrones was becoming a global phenomenon, Emilia Clarke was nearly dying. In 2011, she suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm that caused a stroke. A second aneurysm required open skull surgery in 2013. Scans show that significant parts of her brain are now missing because the blood supply was cut off. Doctors are amazed she can speak, let alone act. She filmed early seasons of the show in excruciating pain, fearing she would die on set, all while playing the most powerful woman on television. While playing the carefree Haley Dunphy on Modern Family, Sarah Hyland was enduring kidney dysplasia. Her kidneys failed to develop properly, leading to a lifetime of pain and fatigue. In 2012, her father donated a kidney to save her, but her body rejected it 4 years later. She had to go on dialysis and eventually needed a second transplant, this time from her brother. Hyland has undergone over 16 surgeries in her short life, often filming scenes while in physical agony that viewers never noticed. Cobie Smulders was just 25 when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer during the 3rd season of How I Met Your Mother. The tumors had spread to her lymph nodes, a terrifying prognosis for someone so young. She underwent multiple surgeries over 2 years to remove the cancer, all while keeping her smile for the sitcom cameras. Doctors told her she would likely never have children, but she defied the odds there too, eventually becoming a mother and a cancer survivor who now advocates for early detection. Ben Stiller owes his life to a simple blood test. In 2014, with no symptoms and no family history, his doctor ordered a PSA test that revealed aggressive prostate cancer. Stiller was shocked. He underwent immediate surgery to remove his prostate, a procedure that carries risks of incontinence and other life-altering side effects. 3 months later, he was cancer-free. He chose to share his story to urge men to get tested, knowing that if he had waited for symptoms to appear, it would have been too late. Hugh Jackman has played an invincible mutant, but in real life, his skin is vulnerable. Since 2013, the Australian actor has been treated for basal cell carcinoma on his nose at least 6 times. He frequently posts photos with bandages on his face to warn his fans about the dangers of sun exposure. Wear sunscreen, he pleads, admitting that his childhood in the Australian sun, without protection, caused the damage. It is a recurring battle, but one he fights publicly to save others from the same fate. In 2021, while filming the final season of Dead to Me, Christina Applegate received a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. Her mobility declined rapidly. She finished the show, but it was a grueling effort that required canes and physical support to stand. When she accepted her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, she did so barefoot because shoes were too painful and threw off her balance. Applegate has been brutally honest about the anger and grief of the diagnosis, refusing to sugarcoat a disease that changed her life overnight. For years, Selma Blair thought she was just clumsy or tired, but her body was attacking itself. After her MS diagnosis in 2018, she lost her ability to speak clearly and walk without assistance. Instead of retreating, she stepped into the spotlight with a cane and a service dog. She appeared on Dancing with the Stars to show that disability doesn't mean the end of expression. Her spasmodic dysphonia affects her voice, but her determination to normalize disabled bodies in Hollywood has made her louder than ever. Harry Potter could fly on a broomstick, but Daniel Radcliffe struggled to tie his own shoelaces. The actor has a mild form of dyspraxia, a neurological disorder that affects motor skills and coordination. In school, he had trouble with writing and simple tasks, which made him feel incompetent. Acting became his escape because it was something he could work at creatively. Radcliffe has shared his story to encourage kids who feel stupid because of learning differences, proving that clumsiness doesn't stop you from creating magic. Gaten Matarazzo's character on Stranger Things is beloved for his toothless grin, but that trait is real. He was born with cleidocranial dysplasia, a genetic condition that affects the development of bones and teeth. He has no collarbones, which allows him to move his shoulders to the center of his chest. Matarazzo has undergone multiple painful surgeries to extract extra teeth and help his adult teeth come in. By writing his condition into the show, he brought unprecedented awareness to a rare disorder. Brendan Fraser was the ultimate action star of the late 90s, but the physical toll was catastrophic. Years of doing his own stunts in the Mummy franchise destroyed his body. He spent 7 years in and out of hospitals undergoing surgeries, a laminectomy on his spine, a partial knee replacement, and vocal cord repair. He described himself as being held together by tape and ice. His disappearance from Hollywood wasn't a choice. He was simply too broken to work. Until his triumphant return years later. Shannen Doherty spent the last decade of her life showing the world what fighting looks like. Diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015, she went into remission, only for it to return as stage 4. It eventually spread to her brain and bones. She worked through treatment, documenting her hair loss and fatigue to remove the stigma of cancer. Even as her condition worsened, she launched a podcast to share her final days with honesty. She passed away in July 2024, leaving a legacy of absolute fearlessness. These stories remind us that behind the glamour, every person is fighting a battle we know nothing about. From chronic pain to terminal diagnoses, these actors didn't just survive. They continued to create art that moved us. Their greatest role wasn't any character they played on screen, but the resilience they showed in real life. If you found these stories inspiring, please subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of the people who shape our culture. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.